Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I made this little gummy bear charm bracelet. This is made with shrink plastic and the gummy bear from the My Monthly Hero kit from Hero Arts. And let's go ahead and get into the video. Hope you like it. Here we go. Okay, so I already have some made, and it's when I decided, let me go ahead and just do a quick video for y'all, just to show you how I make these. And so, aren't they cute? They're adorable. I just love that's why I bought the kit, was for the gummy bear itself. And what I'm making here is a 7-inch bracelet. Now, if you're making this for a little girl, you probably only need a 6-inch, but this is a 7-inch, so it's kind of standard bracelet size. So I have a piece of chain that's 7 inches long and some little bindings here. So you'll need those types of things to create this. Or you could just string them on a string too if you wanted to. So that's a little lobster clamp and these little teeny tiny jump rings and the chain itself. And then I have a larger jump ring on the end because it's hard for me to clip bracelets. So here's the little stamp. And what I have is, and it's from this My Monthly Hero kit. Isn't this adorable? I love this whole kit, but that little gummy bear, man, it's everything. So I'm going to stamp him down on the shrink plastic. And on this shrink plastic, this is the shrink plastic from Sizzix. You stamp with stays on the shiny side. And you can get the Sizzix shrink plastic from Scrappy Shack. Looks like I sped up my video there. And so there's a shiny side, and then there's kind of a, I don't really want to call it rough, but it's almost like paper on there. And I'll show you why I like it in a minute here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this scrap piece. I like to use up my scraps first, but I do need to clip some off because I can't fit that in my Misti tool. You will need a stamp positioner unless you trust yourself because, you know, this stuff is slippery. So, and we're using stays on. Once it's on, it's pretty much on. You can wipe it off with alcohol, actually, because I found that out last night when I was messing with this. So I'm just going to tap lightly and just give a light push. And if it's not dark enough, just do it again. But just a light push. Don't squish down whatever you do. And then each time you stamp down, wipe off your stamp first before you lay it down, or because it's going to leave a mark. And then you're going to need to stamp it where it lays. So I'm going to cover this whole thing. All right, so I've got myself about 18 gummy bears. I see one of them's messed up, and that's fine. I just won't use them. And what I do is I like to cut these out individually before I cut them out, die cut them, because I like to color them first. And I've got a bunch of Distress inks and some Simon Hurley inks, and I'm just going to rub the ink on these. Pick them up and set them aside to dry. Now you want to rub the ink on the back side. So the back side has a kind of a tooth to it that'll hold this ink versus the, and I do like the Simon Says Stamp clear one too, but the clear one, this ink would just bead up. This thing has some tooth and it holds the ink. When you're choosing your inks, you want to choose light colored inks because when you dry these, it darkens. And if you get it too dark, you won't be able to see your outline of your gummy bear. So I'm just going to, one by one, I have no two colors the same. Now this one's a little weird. That was peeled paint. I don't know if that's going to be a very tasty gummy bear, but we'll find out. And I'm just going through and coloring my bears. Doesn't take long at all if you kind of do sort of assembly line. Now for a 7-inch bracelet, I needed 18 bears. So if you're doing a 6-inch, I would say maybe 15, just to be on the safe side. And of course I had some left over, but all in all, when I had all the bears on and I put them on every 4th chain, it took 18 to fill up the bracelet. You could also put other kinds of charms on there too. The one I made last night, I put little pom-poms on or little tassels, whatever. So you can make your bracelet however you want to, or don't make a bracelet. Make earrings, make a necklace, leave them flat, use them as charms on a card. Million things you can do with these shrink stuff, but I really have a lot of fun with this stuff, making, you know, more 3D useful art like jewelry and stuff like that. So we're going to have a whole lot of gummy bears, and I know that was very hard to see that ink color on there, but trust me, when we dry it, and shrink it, it will show up just fine. So now I've switched to my Simon Hurley inks here. So you want to use a dye ink. You don't really want to use a pigment. Take too long to dry. Now that one's kind of funky, so I'm just going to rub around on it. Hey, you can make them psychedelic if you want to, and a couple of mine did come out sort of psychedelic because I accidentally got ink on them from other colors, but they looked cool too. So yeah, I mean, sky's the limit here. And one last one. Let's go in with, oh, I don't know, I must have grabbed sidewalk chalk. I don't recall. Anyway, light colors, light colors. All right, so those are all dry. Now what I need to do is I need to cut them out. So I'm going to flip it back over, shiny side up, and I'm going to grab the coordinating die that comes in the My Monthly Hero kit, and I'm going to cut this out in my Vagabond, which is off to the side. When you're taping it down, you just want to make sure that use a stronger tape. The mint tape doesn't stick. So now that I've got it cut out, I need to make a hole in it because otherwise how am I going to string it on the charm? So I'm using the small, I can't see the size of it, but I'm using the small one of my Crop-a-dile. Use what you have. You don't want to use a big giant one because you'll cut his whole face off, but I'm kind of going like right between the eyes, aiming and trying to make sure I get it in the middle. And there's this little black mark here, and I'm trying to go below that black mark because if you get it too close, it might distort or get, you know, be too easy to break. You need some space in between there. So I've got them cut out. Now this is the little kit that came with the Sizzix, basically that you buy separately, excuse me, for the shrink plastic. And I'm going to be using this little tool here, this little silicone tool. And the little silicone finger thing is I got with some hot glue, so that didn't come with it, but it comes in handy in this case because I want to keep my hole. And sometimes the hole will close itself up. So you're just going to make sure your shrink tool, your heat tool is hot, and you're just going to hang on to it. And sorry, it's kind of in the way so you can't see it, but the little guy will curl up and then he'll flatten back down. Now I'm going to take my finger there and pull out my little silicone tool and then flip it over and smash the little bear down. And there we have it. We have our little gummy bear with a hole in it. Now he's a little distorted, but we don't mind because gummy bears out of the package are dull perfect, especially the, you know, the really good kind. So we'll do one more on camera, and this is the red one, and I'll show you what happens if you get the punched hole too close. And this one's still a little bit damp, so I'm just dabbing it off with a little paper towel. So see how the dye ink still sticks to it because it's got that tooth. And that's why I like these. And I don't know what that black stuff is on there, but I'm not going to stress. So I'm going to flip it over and go ahead and cut this one out as well. And again, I'm using my Spellbinders tape. The mint tape just does not want to stick to this plastic. I tried and tried because I like to use, you know, my least expensive option. So we've got that cut out here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull them out. And that one's almost too dark. So, and you'll see when you go to mess with it how if you get it too dark, you can't see your ink anymore. So here I am, and I'm clipping out, and it's really, really close. So most likely I'm not going to use that one simply because the plastic will be too weak between it, be too easy to break. I don't want it to break after all this work. So he's going to disappear. You won't be able to see him underneath my little tool here. I'm trying to make it so you can see him, but still hold it at the same time. And just back and forth with the heat tool. And then press him off. And then press down with the little tamper. And if it wants to move around on you, and it might, just grab hold of it there with that little tool again. So you can get it nice and hot to get it flat. Sometimes you have to, there is a little tool. Now I wanted to show you too what can happen, and really there's nothing you can do about it. And I can't figure out a rhyme or reason why it does it, but every once in a while it'll create a little divot. Let me see if I can get this close. Do you see that little divot? And you can see there too that I'm way too close to the top, and that one's going to break too easily. So this is why you want to make extras. They don't all get a divot in there. And again, I don't know the rhyme or reason why it gets a divot, but it gets a divot, and that's that. It'll be fine. I can still use that. I just won't use it on a wearable bracelet. So now I've got them all cut out and prepped, and we're going to go ahead and quickly run through and get these shrunk. This is so much fun. I love shrinking these things. And we'll go ahead and just, I have this sped up, obviously. Get them all done. Now, if you go straight down with your heat tool, you want to be careful when you're picking them up too, because they're still pliable. And I'm just so trying to get this so you can see it, but I'm just in my way. See how that got darker? So here's a light one. You can barely see the color on it, but as soon as I get him done, he's yellow. All right, so I'll go ahead and finish these off camera, and I'll be right back. All right, I've got all my bears done, and they're all lined up, and I just want to show you how to attach it to your chain here. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your chain is nice and straight. So you may have to straighten it each time, but you want your bears to all hang the right way. So I've got my chain straight here, and I'm looking for my little tool here. Bear with me. And I can't specifically recommend one tool over another. These are the tools I have. So I have these weird little pliers, and I have these weird little pliers. And I take my little jump ring, and if you know of a better way, I'm always open to advice, but this is what I have. And I just kind of pull them apart slightly, but not like apart, but twist them side to side, just big enough to fit a bear in the opening. So I've got my bear in, and I'm going to go every fourth hole. So I'm going to hold this up, and I'm going to make sure that all the holes are in the same direction, and I'm going to find the fourth hole, and I'm going to put the little jump ring through it, and it's going to fight me because, man, it's tiny. Just make sure I've got it in the fourth hole, and then I'm just going to bend these back where they were. Just like that. And then I'll straighten the whole thing out again and just repeat till I get to the end. Aren't they cute? So I'll finish these off camera, and I'll be right back. All right, now we've got them all done. Here's our little gummy bears all in a row, ready to go onto someone's wrist. And it just has a lobster claw attachment here. And this is how they look. Okay, so aren't they cute? I just love them. And I'll go ahead and model it for you on my wrist real quick. See? There we go. Adorable. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And don't forget, you can get the Hero Arts Monthly Hero Kit from Hero Arts, and you can get the shrink plastic from Scrappy Shack. I can never spit that out. I hope y'all have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.